You could be heading towards parenting burnout and not even know it. Christmas can be a joyful but also quite stressful time of year. And when you add in the strains of being a special needs parent, you could find your mental health is at serious risk. I want you to imagine a coffee cup. Your life as a special needs parent is the coffee, and your cup is already quite full of coffee. But you want to put some milk in it, and Christmas is the milk. So you put a little bit in, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and then before you know it, your coffee cup is overflowing. I want to tell you about a Christmas where my coffee cup completely overflowed. It was a long time ago now. My daughter was about 3 or 4 years old, and she was having all the struggles that any undiagnosed child with additional needs has when they're that age. And on top of that, she finds Christmas generally quite hard because she has sensory processing difficulties, and so Christmas is a big sensory overload for her. And if you throw in with that all the anticipation and too much excitement and too much routine change, so she was really on the edge. And I was quite on the edge too, because I wanted to have the perfect Christmas for my family. I wanted to make memories and have a wonderful time, but I wasn't taking any breaks and I wasn't looking after me. And what happened was everything overflowed. So I remember a particular day where my daughter was doing her Christmas play at nursery, and I went along to watch her, and it was just the most awful experience because I could see how much she was struggling. But she's a child who masks, so she presents her struggles in quite small ways, but I could see her chewing her nails and pulling her hair, and I could see she was in distress and nobody was doing anything about it, and it was so upsetting to see. And I took her home, and as I said, she's a child who masks, so she doesn't let loose at nursery or at school. She lets loose at home, and boy, that day did she let loose. There was violence and aggression and screaming and shouting, and it just went on and on and on. And it broke me, and I ended up on the floor with her, just sobbing, and I couldn't stop. I was just sobbing and sobbing, and I just thought, I can't do this. Like, how am I supposed to do this? I cannot cope with this child's needs. And so what I realized after that was that I had to do something for me. So I know what some of you are thinking. I don't have time for self-care. I can't afford self-care. Well, I've got some good news for you. It doesn't have to take loads of time, and it doesn't have to cost you a penny. So I want you to indulge me a minute, because I want to give you the history of self-care, because I think self-care as a concept has been really co-opted recently, and it's turned into something that you have to spend lots of money on, go on spa days or pamper weekends. It doesn't have to be that at all. The concept of self-care came from the African American community. And it was particularly pioneered by Black activists like the Black Panthers, because they realised that the everyday fighting of oppression was really hard on their mental and their physical health. But the Black Panthers were communists, so they never intended for self-care to be something that you did alone or that you spent loads of money on. They saw self-care as something that you did as part of your community. You looked after each other. And that is where I would advise you to start with your self-care action plan for Christmas. Connect with others. Maybe you've got a group, or maybe you just got one friend. One friend could be more than enough. Maybe check in with them. Maybe have a special time each week where you say, look, can I just give you a call and check in, because I just need to look after myself, and I just need to talk to someone and know that someone's out there who will listen to me. Or you might want to meet up with them and go for a coffee just to get out of the house. Or You could invite them around to your house and maybe put some Christmas tunes on and dance around the kitchen together. Dancing is actually a really great way of releasing stress. So that is the first thing that you can do on your self-care action plan, is making sure you connect with others. The next thing I would recommend is getting out in nature. And I know what you're thinking. It's winter, it's cold, the weather is awful. Why would I want to go outside? But actually, it's really important to go out and connect with nature. I always call nature the world's greatest therapist because I immediately feel better. And to keep yourself warm, you have to walk briskly. And actually, walking briskly is good for both your physical and your mental health. It's a great way of releasing stress. And while you're out there, look for the small joys of winter nature. So maybe it's the red berries on a green holly bush, or maybe put up a bird feeder and see the robins come along. The thing I really like about walking in winter is that it's a lot less crowded. Our parks aren't full of lots of people having picnics and playing ball games. So you've got this big open space everywhere and it's really nice and quiet. And I don't know about you, but with life with special needs children always seems to be about noise. So I quite appreciate the quiet of winter nature. And finally, I want you to think about how you're going to have some time alone at home. You are the primary carer. Well, I assume you are, and that is why you're watching this video. So as your role as primary carer, the rest of your family need to respect that you need some time out, because if you don't get that time out, you will not be able to sustain your parenting role. So they need to find time where you can have an afternoon or even just a few hours to yourself. If you're parenting alone, I know this is much harder. So I'm a single parent, and what I do is I get up an hour before my daughter each morning and I set my alarm early and I get up and I start by journaling, and then I do 20 minutes meditation, and then I do a quick 5 minutes yoga just to stretch out all my muscles, stretch out my spine and do some really good meditative breathing. And I'm not going to lie, in the winter, when my alarm goes off, it's dark outside still. And it's quite hard getting out of bed. And I'm not going to lie, it is really tough to keep that going. But I also know that when I don't do it, my ability to stay calm and regulated when I go in to wake my daughter up is severely compromised. I just feel myself starting to fray. But when I do my morning routine, I go in and I'm calm, and whatever she throws at me, because she throws a lot at me in the morning, I can deal with it with calmness and we get through it together. So if you're thinking, I can't even do that, Esther, like you just don't understand how hard my life is, I get it, I really do. So I'm going to offer you one more thing that only takes 10 minutes, and I know you can find 10 minutes. So what I would suggest is you give tapping a go. It's also called emotional freedom technique, and it is a radical way of releasing stress. It combines the Eastern traditions of acupuncture with Western psychotherapy. You don't need any special equipment, you don't need any special training. All you need is a few minutes to sit down and go through the routine. Now, I've created a special guided tapping meditation so that I can guide you on a tapping journey. And you can get that on my website. It's completely free. I'll put a link in the description where you can sign up and download that. And I really encourage you to give it a go because, as I said, within 10 minutes or less, you can release that stress that you're holding, and then you can deal with your day and your Christmas in a much calmer way. I really hope that you have a great Christmas. I hope that it's calm, and I hope that everyone in your family has a wonderful time together. I hope you found that video useful and can put some of the tips in it to use. I thought you might be interested in some other videos that I've made on similar themes. So why not try this one here? I think you'll really like it.